They say technology makes our lives easier. For work, to learn, to travel, to communicate. But there are things that machines cannot yet do. Things as important as engaging, putting themselves in your shoes, having intuition, or making intelligent decisions. In an increasingly technological world, we need professionals who provide intelligent solutions based on their know-how. Because there are things that technology cannot yet do for you. The human tech.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today in our proper seminar today. We used to do webinars before Brexit. We used to do seminars, and we're back today on the normal track. Let me introduce you today. We've got here on my right-hand side, Richard Hill from Brexit in Spain. Hello, Richard.
Hello, nice to be here.
I have on my left-hand side, Pedro Heredia, international lawyer as well. Hello, Pedro. And then we have in the audience, obviously, we have already 53 already joining us today. And we have here Robert, Lorraine, more people involved. Okay. Now, Richard, we're going to talk today about Brexit, obviously, the TIE renewal. Apparently, I know a lot of people are very stressed because they need to renew their TIE. And to be honest, once you are permanent, you shouldn't be stressed because you've been going already more than 5 years. You're permanente. Permanente is the highest you could go on Spanish residency. And you know that people are contacting you pretty much very stressed because of not getting the appointment. Obviously, to renew your TI is not a complex thing, but you will still need to have an updated padrón, a proper photo, the old passport, the old TI, and to apply for an appointment and pay all this special tax on for the police tax. And that's the situations for expats from the UK with the same rights than a European because they managed to get their residency before Brexit.
The withdrawal agreement.
The withdrawal agreement. And I'm going to pass you over to Richard to tell us a bit more where are the concerns for the people. And obviously, please feel free here in the send us all your questions as much as we could discuss it with. We have people from all around. We even have people from Asturias, Murcia, San Carles, so all over Spain contacting us.
I'm not surprised.
So I'm going to pass over to you, Richard, and then we'll just start answering questions and going on the floor as well. Yeah, over to you.
Well, as Ignacio said, I am the president of Expat Support in Spain, which was formerly called Brexpats. We've changed it to Expat Support because that's what we're doing now. Brexit is a thing of the past, unfortunately, but people still require support. Now, we need to put this in perspective. Under the withdrawal agreement, 281,000 people registered for TIE. The majority were people who were here prior to Brexit. 51,000 were new arrivals who struggled to get over here to be under the withdrawal agreement. When this happened, we knew what the figures were at Brexpats in Spain, as it was, and we spoke with the embassy. We work with the embassy a lot, as Ignacio knows. He's been with us at many meetings with the ambassador and consuls. So we advised the embassy that this year there was going to be a problem because 51,000 people plus trying to change their TIE card, the system wasn't set up to take the numbers. And that is the big problem. We are getting 20, maybe 30 people a week contacting us, scared stiff that they cannot get an appointment to change their TIE for a permit. Today is, don't worry. The TIE is not your residencia. It is proof of your residencia that you can show somebody. Your residencia is held on computer in Madrid, and once you've got permanent residencia, 5 years, as Ignacio said, that's it. You're safe. There might be a problem with banks and other institutions. We are seeing some branches now, I don't know if you've encountered this, where if you haven't got a TIE and you try and present a green sheet or card, they're saying no, it's got to be a TIE. We've also got EES, the European Entry System. No TIE, biometric system, and you are going to be in for delays at the airport, long delays. Alicante has just started doing EES and the delays are enormous. So if I leave you with advice, it's don't panic and get yourself a TIE as soon as you can. What we have learnt from experience is the best time to try and get appointments, and this is right across Spain, is between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning when new appointments are given out, and between 4:30 and 5:30 in the afternoon when cancellations are offered. Try all the time, but if you exceed the 90 days allowed, it is not a major problem. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's exactly correct. I mean, at the end of the day here, well, we share with you here a article we wrote for your own benefit, what we need to do to get the TIE, okay? One of the most difficult things, as Richard said, was to get the appointment. Okay, we've got, at the moment, we've got Tamsin from our office on a daily basis trying to get appointments for clients because it is a job. It is a very hard task that you need to be on a daily basis. So these are one of the things that we could add value to clients. If they need assistance, we could organize that for you. We could organize the whole process. But yes, here you have the link for you to do it yourself if you want to do it.
The comment I would make there, if I may, is doing anything in Spain can be frustrating. And that's not criticising Spain. It's a bureaucratic country.
Yeah.
And doing anything in Spain can be frustrating. If you want to keep your sanity and you want an easier life, using somebody like Pellicer and Hilada is sensible. Yes, it will cost a bit, but you will keep your sanity at the end of it. Trying to do it yourself is hard.
Yeah, at the end of the day, to be crystal clear, I mean, we wrote these articles, so you've got all the steps, all the questions and answers for you to run through it. Obviously, the appointment is the issue, Richard. The appointment is the issue, and organizing everything so it could happen, and then you need to get now another appointment to collect the TIE as well. So it's not an easy task. It is time consuming, but here we go. I mean, a lot of people might want to do it. That's fine. If a lot of people want us to help, that's fine. Now, I'm going to pass over to Pedro now because this TIE is something we call TIE for expats from the UK under the withdrawal agreement. But the TIE, we've got it as well for those British after the withdrawal agreement, that they're going through the non-lucrative visas, golden visas, well, not obviously, not anymore with that. Pedro, can you give us a rough idea for those who didn't make it on time, what any other option after Brexit they've got? Because we'll have to do the TIE renewal. Obviously, not under the withdrawal agreement, it will be under the applicable laws of immigration, which is a non-European country applying for a visa from the home country, and then them getting the resolution, the TIE, and they will have to renew. For those who've got the golden visa, for those who've got the digital nomad visa, they will have to renew the TIE as well, even though that's a different thing. Just over
Okay,
to you.
thank you, Ignacio. Can you listen to me? It's okay? Okay, I'm impressed, Rita, about the figures you've said about this 281,000 British, and then on the withdrawal agreement, it was more than 50,000, which is a massive figure. I mean, obviously, I understand it. Probably, I assume probably will be next month, or maybe in January, February, will be a massive application or submission of
We have
renewal.
See that December and January are probably going to be worse.
Okay. I mean, obviously, the process you can find obviously easily in a website, on different websites, and it's simple. I mean, obviously, the documents are simple. I mean, obviously, the main problem, the big problem is appointment, as it's been said. Okay, well, if you, for some reason, the requirements, you don't fulfill the requirements to renew or to have a TA card, obviously, you start the process of applying for residence. Obviously, there are several ones, but I will just focus on a non-lucrative visa, which probably I understand for British people will be the main one, and the nomad visa as well, and non-lucrative visa is a very simple one, which means that at the end you are going to come to Spain to retire. Is a non-working visa. It is not allowed to work. Normally, it's focused for people who retires and come to Spain to live in Spain without working. Main important issues is that you need to show financial means. You need to show that you have access to money, which minimum amount is 28,000 euros, 29,000 euros, and then family members around 7,000, 8,000 euros each one. To show, you need to show at the end that you have access to that. Anywhere in the world, you don't have to have the money in Spain. The money could be in the United Kingdom or anywhere in the world that you have access to that. And then obviously the criminal records for any residents really at the beginning when you start, obviously with a non-European Union citizen that comes to Spain, the criminal records needs to be clear, transparent, no criminal records. There are some exceptions, obviously, but that's a main important document apart from the financial means. And then having access to the health system, extremely important, or public system by the S1 form or through a private insurance policy, which after 1 year we always say, okay, well, you may want to have access to the public health system. Okay, by the way, it's an spectacular. I can feel that from the clients that they tell us that the public health system is really extremely good. Okay, that's a non-lucrative visa. Obviously, it takes between 3 and 5 months. So you need to apply from a Spanish consulate, and it takes sometimes 3 months to make a resolution, and you get a visa, and then you enter in Spain in the following 90 days. So it takes around 3 to 5 months to get it, and then after 1 year you need to renew it, and then after 2 years, so it has a lot more bureaucracy, obviously. And then the nomad visa right now is starting to be like one of the probably attracting visas for people who works and can work remotely. In this case, all around the world, I mean, it's right now everyone is working with computers. Even us, we work a lot by video conference with clients. And well, the nomad visa at the end, maybe you are employee of a company, and maybe you are a self-employment. At the end, you need to show at least that you have you are an employee of a company at least 3 months, which is a very soft requirement. And the company just a minimum of 1 year valid of existence of the company. And apart from that, you need to show that at the end you have enough income, which is around 2,200 euros per month, an average rate per month income. This is not just savings. We're talking about income now for the nomad visa. And well, if that is the case, apart from criminal records, insurance or health system with Spain, and then it's obviously I'm not going to enter on that because today we're going to speak about the TI cards and renewals, and is the bureaucracy in terms of you are employee of a company, you have a social security in your home country, and then how to have access to the social security in Spain. That's another issue, obviously, but there are some requirements that needs to be obviously fulfilled. Or if you are self-employment, obviously you need to show that you have experience, at least 3 years on that field. And at the end, you can work remotely in Spain. You have to show that. At the end, it's a matter of proof. Important aspect always when we speak about residence and visas, or whenever someone wants to come to Spain, it's about taxes. You come to Spain, at the end, you need, it's a must, and this is, we speak about that many times, it's a must. You plan, you study, you make some simulations about what will be the situation in Spain whenever you become resident and tax resident. And if someone has any question, obviously we will be happy to answer about taxes. But basically, we always recommend that whenever you're going to become resident, you need to check about what is going to be the situation, and if you have to do things before in order not to, well, to pay taxes or to pay less taxes in this case. The first year, what happened the second year, and so on. Obviously, for those one has been living here in Spain 5 years and now is going to renew, obviously they are residents, and we assume that they are tax residents. Obviously, they are submitting the income, worldwide income in Spain, accordingly to the double taxation treaty between Spain and UK. We have some standard clauses as many other conventions between Spain and many countries in the world about taxes. Okay, well, just briefly, say that.
I just wonder whether you want to add anything here, or we could just start jumping from questions from the floor.
Well, the only thing I would add is that if people need assistance or advice, our services are free. We're a voluntary association. You can find us on Facebook. We are expat support in Spain, and we have regional representatives who can give you local advice. Or if you want to messenger me, Richard T. Hill, I will try and assist you.
Okay, right. I wonder whether we could just pass over to Gita. I don't know whether you would like to add any questions from the floor. I mean, I know you come from Torrevieja, and if you would like to bring any comments or anything with experience from expats trying to renew the TIE or problems that you've been facing so far, over to you, Gita.
Yes. So I'm from the town hall in Torrevieja, Councillor for International Residents. And what I see a lot is the patron, empadronamiento, censo, this strange thing that we have in Spain where we have to register in the town hall. And in general, then people, they want to take out a patron certificate for their appointment. In general, the rules are, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you still have the same address at the renewal, you don't need the patron certificate. But if you have changed your address from the card you had before, then you do need a new patron certificate. But saying that, a lot of people, they travel very far to change their TIE card. If you live in Torrevieja or anywhere else in the Alicante province, then you ought to do your appointment in the Alicante province. And we see a lot of, from our area, going to Calpe, Benidorm, Elda. And I understand why you would like to bring a certificate, even though they might not ask for it, but just in case. And it's very easy to get a patron certificate. Might seem complicated, but it's very easy. And then I can just add one more thing, and that is like, I understand people who get professional help, and there's nothing wrong with having people to help you to do an appointment. But what I think is that you shouldn't pay just for the appointment. If you get professional help, then get somebody who can help you with the whole thing. Maybe even like transport, or at least help you to organize the transport, help you to pay the tax, help you to fill in the form in the right way. Because we are seeing that the appointments are selling at 200 euros. And if it's just the appointment that you are getting, and you are not really getting all the help around it, then you end up maybe paying a lot of money for nothing. Then rather pay, but pay for the whole service to make sure. And if there should be a mistake, also if you have got some professional help, if there should be something missing, then of course they will help you to get it right.
Now, comment.
Yes, please go ahead.
I agree with you completely on the technicality of the padron. Unfortunately, many places don't. Banks are a very good example, and so are car sales. If the padron is older, the certificate is older than 3 months, they often refuse it.
Yes, the when you have to present a certificate, then almost any place, then it has to be less than 3 months. But what I was pointing out is that if you haven't changed your address from the former TIE card, then you don't need to present a padron certificate at the appointment.
Yeah.
And also, we are unfortunately seeing a lot of Brits that are not confirming their padron. In the Spanish system for registering in the town hall, then people who have long-term residence, and that means like the EU citizens with residencia or from the withdrawal agreement, they will all have long-term residency. So they will have to confirm their padron every 5 years. For the Brits that are entering now, they won't start out with a long-term residence, so they will have to renew every 2 years. So the ones after Brexit renew every 2 years, but the ones from before, it's a confirmation every 5 years.
There are regional variations to that as well.
I was just saying to the audience here that there is variation and they should double check. I mean, obviously, I was trying to comment that in Alicante province, they will not allow before the expiring date. But probably people from Asturias or from Murcia, they might have a different, because unfortunately the law is one, but the interpretation that every police station does is they have their own book, and that's the way it is.
And sometimes every desk.
Yeah,
Every station.
correct. And so it's always better to get the general advice and just do the specific, or just when you speak to your lawyer or your historian or whoever gives you all advice, just tell them exactly where you need the appointment for and when you need the appointment.
That's why we have regional reps.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
And that's basically it. If obviously with every single TIE, you could do it before 60 days, after 90 days. That's the normal TIE system for everything. Now, what is the problem here? They will not allow that. Now, the panic, Richard, comes when they think they're going to be thrown out of the country.
Absolutely.
And that's where the risk is, that they're thinking, I'm losing full control of my status here. No. I mean, the fact of you becoming resident, this TIE basically is a credit. It's like an ID card for Spanish. When you go to the notary to sign your wills, your power of attorney, you're selling or buying a property, then if you're a resident, if you're a permanent resident, you will show your TIE like an ID card. What happens if that has expired? That the notary will not accept you that identification card, because as my ID, if my ID, Spanish ID, did expire, it happened to one of the lawyers that are here, they went to the notary, you go to the notary, they don't know you, your ID or TIE for you is not valid because expired, they will not allow you to sign any document, bureaucracy, but you're not duly identified. So what can you do? You could go with your passport and your NI number and still do the signing of your will, of your power of attorney, of the conveyance, whatever you need to sign.
Yeah.
So this is one important issue about now. Are you going to be thrown out? No, because you're still in process. And here they have experienced that they're having problems providing appointments. So if you don't provide appointments, how on earth, right? So you could always try to do it, or just always show the good faith that you're trying to renew. Now, if you've been here more than 5 years, do you just want to credit that you are longer here? So you want to prove that your status is on a card, permanent, right? But that doesn't mean that you are not legal, right? So this is where the panic starts, and say, oh, I'm going to be thrown out. A different thing is when you apply for, you come to Spain here for 3 months, tourist, you have nothing, and you didn't submit any type of the visas that Pedro did explain, then you have nothing. And if you have nothing, then yes, you have an issue. Then you have a problem because you don't have a permit to stay in Spain.
No, it's not only an issue in Spain, it's an issue in Europe. You know, because you are in the Schengen zone as an illegal entry.
Rita, I have one question. Do you have any figure? I mean, how many Brits have not applied for the TIE card? So they just have this like a green document.
No, that's a very interesting question, Pedro. And there are two figures. The embassy and we think it's between 6 and 10,000 haven't applied for a TIE. The Spanish government thinks it's 30,000. That's a worry.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and what you have to put in perspective here is we know that 51,000 minimum people are going to be trying to change their TIE card for permanent. We know that this year. In addition, many of the people who haven't changed to a TIE because of the implementation of the European entry system are now trying to do it urgently. So their figures are on top of the already overloaded figures. It's a bit of a mess.
Okay, I don't know if, Robert, would you like to say something about your experience, or have you spoken with clients or people?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me along. It's very important that people understand that there are so many rumors going about, whether people go onto social media or people speak to somebody in their local bar or whatever, and they end up getting all this bad advice as to what to do next. And it really is been going on for years and years and years. I've stayed here in Spain for 12 years now. I still hear people getting really concerned about issues that really don't exist. In this situation, with a lot of the TIEs now coming up for renewal, and also there's a lot of people still got the green card that need to be transferred over to the TIE, in my experience, get a professional like P&H to come and do it for you and get it done properly. Because as the saying always goes, if you buy cheap, you end up paying twice. It's really essential to get peace of mind to come to a company like Ignacio and Pedro and get it done properly, because in my experience, there's so many people out there who are trying to do it themselves and they're really getting frustrated and it's really getting difficult for them. So in my opinion, you should just get somebody on board to get it done properly for you, because the stress that goes with this is not pleasant for anybody concerned. And clearly at the moment, the numbers are going to be high because of the timeline is that we're now 5 years since the UK left the European Union. And as a result of that, there's a lot of renewals coming up right now. And so the system's going to get incredibly busy. So if you want to get it done properly.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Robert. I think we're going to start. I don't know if Lorraine would you like to comment anything about her experience after Brexit with the TIEs, or we just start jumping from the floor now on the panel. Over to you, Lorraine.
you. So thank you very much for the invitation. I represent Seagate Wealth Management, and one of the things that Pedro mentioned, which is really important, and I'd like to reiterate that, is again, a lot of people who are coming over on the non-lucrative visa, they have the idea that they have got to deposit money somewhere. And so many people have managed to convince themselves that they have to bring that money to Spain and convert it to euros. And with the exchange rate as it is at the moment, that would be a terrible idea. So I just want to let people know, as Pedro mentioned, that you just need to prove that you have access to that money. Now, that can be in your UK bank, or it could be in an investment. We work with Prudential International, and they can hold the money, and the certificate that they issue is acceptable as proof that you have those funds. They're liquid funds. Means that while you're here, because you're not supposed to touch that money, you have to have money to live on as well as that. But what it means is that money can be working for you, so that at the end of the 5 years, then you can take your income from that, and it's just been growing for you. And every time you need to prove that you have the money, we can issue via Prudential the statement to give people that peace of mind. But what I would say is that I used this company to sort out my TIE card. I've been here, next week it will be 18 years. So, and when I came here, it was very simple. You got the green piece of paper and that was it. So the hoops that you have to jump through now, and the timing is critical, I would definitely say use a proper, reputable company.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of you two, and probably you. One of the problems that people encounter when they apply for an NLV is proving the funds if they're in a UK bank, because they are asked to get a stamped bank statement, and British banks won't stamp the statements.
You want to take it, Pedro? I think he could take it.
Thank you, Richard. That is a very good question. It's something that we are dealing with that mostly every week on that, on proofing, because obviously we need to show, and this is the requirement, is one of the criteria by the immigration office, by the visa chiefs that are in the Spanish consulates. But obviously at the end, on law, we have like one principle is as much as you can prove better. And obviously in Spain, where we are very like, we like stamps things.
Yeah.
We like things that it looks like it's more official, it looks like it's more valid. But obviously there are, I mean, and the immigration officers, the visa chiefs, they know that in the world right now is changing, obviously, and this is not very usual in many, many banks. And they know that people is struggling to get them. We obviously require them, we tell them to do it, not just in the United Kingdom, also in, for example, in the United States, it happens exactly the same. They cannot get this stamp documents by banks. Obviously, we tell them to do it, to try it, and then we at the end, if it cannot be done that way, if it possibly cannot be done, then we submit it anyway. Because at the end, these documents are valid, is the proof that we can do, and there's nothing else that we can do. It's a matter of proof at the end. And the visa chiefs, in some way, are, I would say, accepting these documents as much as we can prove that they are like, because the way that when you stamp a document, it says, oh, this is it's not fake, it's good, it's okay. But obviously this is from a past thought. And now obviously everyone could fake anything, everyone could say to do something about the stamps or not. As much as we can show to the Spanish authorities, to immigration officers that it is real, this is the bank statements are correct. I mean, obviously all the proof, the translations and everything are okay. And we have tried anyway to get these stamps, because we sometimes even we have applied for that. Obviously the immigration officers, the visa chiefs, they accept. Obviously the requirement, and whenever we have a client say, please go ahead and try to get this stamped. But it's a really good question. It's something, I would say something very subjective. We had some weeks ago a case that we represent a client on a nomad visa, client and wife, both. Same documents, same information, same proof, everything exactly the same. And one was accepted and the other one was not accepted to be subsanated. Different visa types because applications were made in a different day.
Yeah.
Different, as you said at the beginning, it was a different criteria, different desk.
Yeah.
And we had that, and then we subsanated and we make some better proof or more proof that what we did it with one of our spouses, and then it was accepted as well.
Somebody suggested that if you've got a bank statement and you've got a problem getting through immigration with a non-stamped one, that you could get it apostilled.
You could get, sorry?
Apostle.
Oh, well, the apostille, I mean, the apostille of a Hague Convention, 1961, is a convention that what you do is you stamp your apostille public documents, for example, criminal record, marriage certificate, birth certificate. Those ones who are public documents, like say, from I don't know, Social Security, for example, or any public document, because the apostille of the Hague Convention, what it states really is that makes valid the signature of a public employee who issues that document.
Right.
So bank statements cannot be apostille,
Right.
because it's not public. What in some way probably is what we try I mean, this is it's open really in a creative way in terms of what we can prove. At the end, what we show is that we have tried, we have done it, we have struggled in order to have this stamp, but it's not. And if we have certificate someone an answer by a bank says we do not do that, well, what we can do? I mean, there's nothing else we can do. I mean, they need to be convinced, or they need to say, okay, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Obviously, the immigration officers, the Spanish consulates, they know which banks they do it or not. I mean, they know it. They are very experienced right now. The BLS is very experienced now. I mean, depending on the country, because obviously there are some, China, for example, when we have clients from China, the criteria are enormous. I mean, they do not believe, the Spanish consulate, immigration, the visa chiefs, they do not believe a lot of information that is given because they have experienced that people cheat them. So depending on countries, obviously the criteria is objective, is the level of filter the documents are high or not. I think, I mean, this is my experience from UK, Canada, United States, for example, North Europe. We are talking about non-EU citizens. In some way, obviously, you fulfill the requirements. You show that you have tried. You show that you will be accepted.
Okay, thank you for that, Pedro.
Okay, going back to Lorraine's question here about the funds she was mentioning, I really think a lot of people are getting confused as well about having the money in the bank. I agree with her comment. I agree that they could keep their investment wherever they have placed it before, and as long as it's liquid, they should accept it. So don't panic because of that. As well, I encourage people not to necessarily do a mistake of buying a property and running out of money, which is another thing, because they start buying a property, which is good and it's fine, but the problem is the Spanish Immigration Office will request you to prove the income that is according to law that you need to have available to leave.
That's the number of people who buy the property and then go out and furnish it and buy the new car and all the rest of it, and come renewal, no money.
No money. And that's really an issue, because for those who were lucky enough to come before Brexit, now after 5, I mean, the good part from the European card, the TIE, but you've got the same rights than a European, is that anybody who applied on time could work, could travel around Europe, could do a lot of things that you could only value if you compare. For those who are coming over now, they are only allowed to stay 3 months.
Yeah.
They have the non-lucrative visa, as Pedro say. The golden visa now is gone, obviously. The digital nomad visa, but everything is an issue. Everything is difficult. Everything is time-consuming. It's expensive. his work.
And there are restrictions.
And there are restrictions, and then you need to deal with the Spanish consulate in wherever you are coming from. So for those who have the TIE pre-Brexit, I really encourage you not to stress, obviously, to renew it properly. I know we're having people in the chat here, Richard, they struggle with the appointments, and I agree. Don't panic. Just hire somebody of your confidence to do it for you. You know, at the end of the day, and as Gita said, just pay for the full service, not just to get payments. In the black market, unfortunately, there is people reselling appointments and things like that. But I wouldn't go into it, and I wouldn't even fall into that trap. It's more for you to hire the service, somebody of your trust, for them to take you by the hand and do everything. I don't know, Pedro, you want to mention something
I
here?
have a question about, we were speaking about before we started webinar, Richard. Because I always ask this to clients, and in terms of how is right now the entering in the airport in Spain, about, I mean, if they don't have a TI card, or what about the stamp of the passport is biometrical, which is a system that should be installed from some months ago. What is your experience?
What we're hearing is that if you do not have a TIE, with EES being implemented, and I have to make the point, it's not implemented yet at every airport. But Alicante came on stream last week, I think. Yeah. And treat it as a hobby, because you're going to spend quite an amount of time in the airport. Yeah. Yeah, there's long queues if you haven't got a TIE. And I have to say that even some people who have got a TIE are being told to go through and be checked. I don't know why that is, but they are pulling some people out of queues with less than 5 years TIE, but we don't know why.
Airport,
Yeah, and
queue?
Malaga.
And Malaga.
But we don't know why.
Right.
And it's very few.
Because
but it does happen.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have your British passport, but you have your residency card.
Yeah.
And your residence, you shouldn't be on the other lane of non-European countries.
No, one of the theories that I've got, okay, this
They may not know.
One of the theories that I've got is that many people, I won't say many, when post-Brexit and you had that year to get in under the withdrawal agreement, or just before December 2020, quite a few people applied for a TIE. They didn't live in Spain, but they thought they were going to be coming to live in Spain. And they wanted to be in under the withdrawal agreement. Mm-hmm. So they haven't been here, and yet they are trying to come in as if they have been here. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why they're picking on some people. There are quite a few, and we are aware of them, because they've contacted us and said, this is what I did.
I don't know if Gita has any mention, because she's got a lot of international citizens in her town hall, so.
Yeah, I'm not, maybe you can support me on this, but I'm not like an expert on ESTA and Heredia. But of course, when you are renewing when you have to renew TIE card, the thing is, once you have your 5 years, then basically that's it. It's just a renewal. You don't have to apply. But if it is other types of renewals, like after 1 year, after 2 years, then it is an application, and then there's some requirements. Mm-hmm. And one of the requirements is that you have actually been in Spain for so and so long. So that's why it makes sense for immigration police to check the people, because they might find it interesting to give a few stamps if they see, here there might be something.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I think. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know if Pedro wants to comment something. Do you want to comment anything from that reflection, basically?
No, well,
Because obviously you're fully correct. It's not the same
Exactly.
renewing 5 years permanente, which is like extending already your acquired rights, rather than 1 year.
Yeah, then you have to go through the
To the
immigration
another
office,
application.
immigration del gobierno, or you do it in this case with the TIE card, you just go straight forward to the police station. But I like that what is being said by Richard and Hita in terms of that those one who have not been really living here in Spain, obviously that filter obviously will come into some computer system, obviously in terms of to stop those ones who were not really residents and they had a TIE card. And now they want to renew, and it just will not happen. Yeah.
Okay. We could just, I don't know if Robert or Lorraine or anybody have any other comments. Helen, you want to mention anything? Richard?
Nope.
Oh, so shall we just go a bit more down to the appointments issues here? Okay. Well, first thing, as a reminder here, the process, what will be the process you'll need to, some people might say, Richard, 60 days prior, well, if they could do it and they want to do it in a different region, I know in Alicante they don't allow, but I don't know
most regions
you don't know any other region that allows that?
No.
Okay.
Murcia has allowed it,
Right.
but not all the time.
Not all the time. So it's for them to double check either themselves or go through their lawyer to tell them whatever is the common practice in that region.
I'd go through the lawyer.
Okay, yeah. Now, once you've got that, obviously your lawyer or yourself through the Extranjería office, because some people here are saying, what is the website of Extranjería? Okay, so you need to go Cita Previa Extranjería, right? The website from the government. And I'm sure if you Google, you will find it, but I could just post it here for you to Google around and find out, okay? Then you need to choose the police station. Obviously, if we are in Alicante, you've got the possibilities of getting appointments in Benidorm, Elda, Orihuela, Elche, Alicante, etc. Denia. Okay, well, that's the other thing that sometimes what we're telling clients here, Richard, is are you flexible on appointments? Because we are not getting appointments wherever we want for the whole family and every day. You might get one, I might get you one for tomorrow. Are you ready for tomorrow? Probably you're not. Oh, I've got all these requirements. I cannot do this. I would recommend people to be flexible with that because it's not an easy thing or you need to wait. Okay. Now you might have one appointment in Benidorm for you and your husband or your wife, another one in Elda because it is what it is and that's what is happening. Nevertheless, I again think it's nothing to worry, not to panic, but try to do it sooner rather than later. Then you, as Gita said about the Padron, I agree. I mean, getting the Padron renewed is not a big issue. It's not a big issue. I am more of the opinion for you to have an updated Padron just in case. You don't want to just spend time on the appointment, especially if you're doing it by yourself. Because if you're going through your lawyer, they will not allow you to go and waste your day. But I will recommend you, depending on the Extranjería office or police station office, for you to bring your Padron. I agree with Gita that you don't need, if it's the same address, you don't need to prove it that again.
You don't need to, but
I will still recommend just in case, because you never know.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a piece of advice here. You don't. I mean, when you living in Spain and you're working with the public system, don't you ever think that you've got everything under control. Okay, no. You will get someone to tell you one thing, someone to tell you a different one. I mean, some of the functionaries will be more flexible than the other ones, but we could tell you what it is, but you always have a flexibility on accepting documents or being very strict. Okay, so this is a good positive thing. Padron, if you have it, great. Then don't forget to bring your passport, the original expired TIE, paying the police tax, okay, on your behalf. And eventually you will have photograph, reason with no glasses on it. And and you will have eventually, depending on the police station, another appointment to collect your TIE. Okay, so it seems pretty straightforward. It seems piece of cake, but it's a whole experience on it, isn't it, Richard? It's a whole experience.
We've got a saying in England, belt and braces, and that's the answer. Have all your ducks in a row, have all your paperwork, maybe even copies just to make sure, and make sure you do it.
Right. I don't know, Pedro, do you want to just come in before we go and wrap up here? Because we're having a lot of questions, and probably it's hard to answer to all of them. But I think we did cover a lot of it. I think we could just, some people say that even their TI expires in 2026. And then obviously I will not recommend anybody to start doing, if the expiring date, I will still insist that you only act, if you want to double check at the police station, do it. In Alicante province so far, they will not allow it to do it before.
I think by mid next year, it will go back to allowing you to apply before the card is dead. Once the peak has dropped, but that peak's not going to drop in the first quarter.
Well, and then we've been having problems with the appointments, not only for the Brexit thing, we've been having problems because being hacked the system, and I know it is not an issue, the fact that you've been here more than 5 years, it has expired, and you are on process. However, I could understand your concern because you don't have the ID card to prove what you're saying is true, which is you're a resident. But they could always show the old one and is under the...
Absolutely.
So,
especially if you've got an appointment, even though it may be out
bring
of
it with
time.
you. Just to have you a printout appointment, and then you have the old version of your TIE and bring it with you, and then you will have no issue.
Yeah.
Pedro, you wanted to say something about the appointments?
I think we are run out of time, but obviously I think the big message, as has been said by Richard, is about obviously not panic, and not to worry. Obviously, it's something that you're going to need. Obviously, in order to be identified, it's been said about banks, about many issues that it's important to have, but not to panic about this timing, because of appointments are difficult to get them, but in some way you will get through that. By yourself or by a professional, obviously, is will be easier, but there's no panic, not to worry, and do it. And this is what our recommendation, I think, is and those one who haven't done it, I think is a massive figure. Has been said. A lot of people haven't even have applied for the TI card. Just do it, because obviously it's something that is going to be important for traveling, for many issues in Spain about being identified. Do obviously any issue, formalities, any official issue is required really to do it. I think there's a big message today. I mean, it's important to say that, well, the requirements are straightforward, simple, but it's something that needs to be done. And the bureaucracy in Spain is not say dot by dot and then you will get a result, as has been said. And the end, and we know in Spain that even though you get everything, you have always the threat that maybe you don't have all the documents and you have to go back again another appointment. So as better as you are prepared for that appointment is going to be better, and you don't have to do it again.
Okay.
One of the arguments against getting a TIE, and we hear this all the time, when Brexit happened, Spain stated that people who had green residency would not have to change. And Spain stated it. And it's still true. It is not Spain that has altered the rules. It's the EU and the Schengen zone. That's what's made it that you've got to get a TIE. Now, banks, etc., should not be demanding a TIE, but some of them are. And that is going to increase. So the advice that we've been giving for 5 years is exactly what Pedro said: get a TIE.
I know there are still people reluctant to do it,
Yeah.
which is fine. It's up to them. I still see them with the green paper, which is fine. But obviously, the green paper is not the same that at
No.
TIE.
No.
You will not identify yourself with a green paper to identify your identity.
No.
So you have to carry on your passport with the green one. Alternatively, you could go with your TIE if you're driving.
Yeah.
So you don't need to carry on your passport. For those who do not have the TIE, they should bring with them the passport and the green one.
Yeah.
You know, that's exactly how it is. And okay. Well, Richard, thank you very much again for your time and joining us. Obviously, thank you, Gita, thank you, Robert, thank you, Lorraine, and happy to join you eventually in another webinar, another seminar, and we'll join you in the future about different topics. Okay, feel free to send us your suggestions. And obviously, I'm going to pass it over to Juanfran with the video. And for those who will stay here, we'll have a coffee together. Thank you very much. Over to you, Juanfran. Thank you.
You're new to Spain and in need of legal help. When you're in a country that is foreign to you, you want someone who speaks your language, who understands you, and who will have an answer to all immigration and nationality matters. At Pellicer and Heredia, you can count on a specialist in international law and a multidisciplinary team that can help you handle all the necessary formalities. Do you want to take advantage of the Golden Visa program? We will help you obtain the residence visa for investors through the purchase of a property or via a business project that you're looking to develop in Spain. Do you need a residence permit? Obtain it for non-profit purposes or through family, work, study, research and training purposes. If, on the other hand, what you are looking for is a renewal, we take care of the whole process, so all you need to do is leave your fingerprint. We also deal with re-entry permits in the case that you want to leave and return to Spain. And of course, we help you obtain the certificate of registration as a European citizen, the foreigner's identity number, Spanish citizenship, and the certified translation of documents in all languages. Because at Pellicer and Heredia, we know that speaking your language is the only way to gain your confidence. Trust that we repay with 2 words: professionalism and commitment. Pellicer and Heredia, international lawyers.